The blue-skinned Commander Red's four eyes widened as the patrol ship's sensors lit up with warnings. An unknown vessel had just appeared at the edge of Council space, its energy signature unlike anything in their database. The ship's design was both beautiful and terrifying. Sleek angles mixed with practical armor, and weapon ports that spoke of serious firepower. "Report." Commander Red's voice carried across the bridge of the patrol vessel Hope's Light. His second-in-command rushed to compile the sensor data, all three of his hearts beating faster with each new reading. "Sir, the vessel's hull is made of materials we've never seen before. Its power output is impossible. Our sensors must be malfunctioning." The officer's hands shook as he worked the controls. "It's bigger than our largest battleships, but the energy efficiency is off the charts." Red moved to the main viewport, watching as the mysterious ship held its position. Its dark hull seemed to drink in the starlight, and Red could make out the strange markings on its side. "Steadfast" in an unknown script. Inside the human warship Steadfast, Captain Gray stood calmly on his bridge, watching the alien patrol vessel with interest. This wasn't humanity's first venture into deep space, but it was their first contact with an organized alien government. The past decade of human expansion had been carefully planned, avoiding populated systems until they felt ready. "Open a channel," Gray ordered, straightening his uniform. "Let's do this by the book." The communications officer nodded, sending out the carefully crafted first contact package that humanity had prepared years ago. It contained basic mathematical sequences, visual greetings, and simple language primers. On the Hope's Light, Red watched in growing alarm as the unknown ship transmitted a massive data package. His crew scrambled to analyze it, but the sheer volume of information was overwhelming. As the first images began to decode, Red felt his blood run cold. The creatures on the screen were unlike anything in Council records. They stood on two legs like some species, but their eyes were forward-facing like apex predators. Their teeth showed both herbivorous and carnivorous characteristics. Most disturbing was their world. Images of vast cities, space stations, and military vessels that had somehow remained hidden from Council detection. "Sir," his science officer called out, voice trembling. "The atmospheric data they provided. Their world has death levels of oxygen. No known spacefaring race could evolve in such conditions. It's impossible." Red's command training kicked in. An unknown species with advanced technology, supposedly evolving on a death world, appearing out of nowhere. This had to be a trick. Perhaps they were bioengineered weapons from the Forbidden Zones, or another of the galaxy's ancient horrors awakening. "Battle stations," Red ordered, watching his crew snap to action. "Send emergency broadcasts to all nearby Council vessels. Unknown hostile entity detected." He knew he might be overreacting, but the alternative, that such a species had developed independently and hidden their expansion, was too frightening to consider. On the Steadfast, Gray frowned as he watched the alien vessel's power readings spike. "They're charging weapons," his tactical officer reported. "Their communications are lighting up with encrypted transmissions." "Damn," Gray muttered. This was exactly what they'd hoped to avoid. Humanity had hidden their expansion precisely because they feared this reaction. Their simulations had shown that their rapid technological growth, combined with their biological adaptations to Earth's conditions, would seem threatening to most potential alien species. "Hold position," Gray ordered. "Shields up, but do not charge weapons. Record everything for command. Let's show them we're not the aggressors they fear we are." He watched as more alien ships began appearing on the long-range sensors, no doubt responding to the patrol ship's warning. The first contact scenario was rapidly spinning out of control, all because of fear and misunderstanding. As Gray watched more alien vessels appear, he knew the next few hours would determine whether humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage would begin with peace or war. The Steadfast hung in space, a dark testament to humanity's advancement, while around it, the galaxy held its breath. Humanity had hoped to enter galactic society quietly, diplomatically. Instead, their worst fears were coming true. Their very existence was causing panic. As Gray prepared to face the growing alien fleet, he couldn't help but wonder if perhaps humanity's cautious expansion had actually made things worse. They had hidden their growth out of consideration for others, but that same secrecy now made them appear more threatening than ever. The news of the human warship spread through the Council's communication networks like wildfire. Within hours, every major species had received images and sensor readings of the Steadfast. Emergency meetings were called, military vessels changed course, and fear began to grip the galactic community. In a busy space station at the edge of Council space, an alien merchant captain slammed his drinking cup on the table. "I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes. The ship just appeared from nowhere, like a ghost." The other aliens in the crowded bar leaned in closer. Its hull absorbed our scans like they were nothing. And the beings inside. He shuddered, his scales rattling. Meanwhile, aboard the Steadfast, Intelligence Officer Wilson sat at her station, sorting through the flood of intercepted alien communications. Her translation software worked overtime, processing the mix of panic, speculation, and wild rumors spreading across space. "Captain," she called to Gray, "you need to hear this." She played a translated transmission. The alien voices spoke of humans as demons from the void, harbingers of doom, and planet eaters. Some even claimed the Steadfast could destroy stars. Gray rubbed his temples. "They're turning us into monsters, and we haven't even fired a shot." He turned to Admiral Stone's hologram floating above the bridge's command table. The Admiral's face showed equal parts concern and determination. "The situation is worse than we thought," Stone said. "Our other ships report similar reactions across 3 sectors. The Council species are mobilizing their fleets. They think we're an invasion force." A junior officer rushed to Wilson's station. "Sir, new intelligence. They're calling us Deepworlders. Their scientists are claiming we must be artificial creatures because nothing could naturally evolve on Earth." Outside the ship, more alien vessels appeared every hour. Their designs varied wildly. Some looked like giant crystals, others like organic creatures, and a few resembled floating cities. But they all kept their distance from the Steadfast, treating it like a bomb that might explode at any moment. On a Council research station, Chief Scientist Blue frantically analyzed the human data. "Impossible," she muttered, running the numbers again. "Their muscles should tear themselves apart at that density. Their bones should shatter under their own gravity. Their brains should cook in their skulls from the heat." Her assistant, Green, looked over the atmospheric data again. "The oxygen levels alone. Any spark should set their whole planet ablaze. How do they even control fire?" The more they learned about Earth, the less sense humans made. Back on the Steadfast, Wilson discovered something troubling in the alien transmissions. "Captain, they're spreading stories about other human ships." She displayed a star map showing reported human sightings across Council space. Red dots blinked everywhere, but Gray knew they were false. The Steadfast was humanity's only ship in this sector. "They're seeing ghosts," Gray said softly. "Their fear is making them jump at shadows." He watched as another alien ship joined the growing fleet around them. "Every hour they spend afraid of us makes peaceful contact harder." Admiral Stone's hologram nodded grimly. "It gets worse. Our long-range sensors show they're pulling ships from their border patrols. They're so focused on us that they're leaving their territories unguarded." Gray felt the weight of responsibility grow heavier. Humanity's careful plans for peaceful first contact were unraveling. Their attempts to avoid frightening other species had backfired completely. Instead of seeing humans as fellow travelers among the stars, the Council species had turned them into bogeymen. "Sir," Wilson called out again, "I'm picking up transmissions from their civilian ships now. They're telling stories about us." She played a recording of alien children being warned to behave, or the humans will get them. In just a few days, humanity had gone from unknown to the galaxy's new monster under the bed. The Steadfast hung in space, its dark hull reflecting the distant starlight. Around it, the alien fleet grew larger, their fear grew stronger, and the chance for a peaceful first contact grew smaller. Captain Gray stood at his viewport, watching the gathering ships, knowing that somewhere among those alien vessels, someone would eventually let their fear push them too far. The Grand Council chamber buzzed with panic as hundreds of alien representatives gathered for an emergency session. The massive room, usually a place of calm debate, now felt like a pot about to boil over. Holograms of the Steadfast floated in the center, spinning slowly as different species argued about what to do. "The humans must be contained," shouted Representative Gold, his crystalline form flashing with agitation. "Their ship's power readings alone violate 3 laws of physics. Who knows what other impossible things they can do?" The council leader, an ancient being called Elder White, raised all 4 hands for silence. "We must not let fear rule our decisions. The humans have made no aggressive moves." His wise eyes swept the chamber. "Yet our ships surround them like hunters cornering prey." On a separate channel, Captain Gray watched the council broadcast with growing concern. The Steadfast's advanced systems had finally cracked the council's secure feeds, giving them a front-row seat to their own trial. "They're afraid of our biology as much as our technology," Wilson noted, displaying more translations. "Some think we're artificial beings. Others believe we're ancient weapons waking up. No one wants to accept that we're just people." A small alien supply ship drifted nearby, its engines damaged from a failed jump. Gray watched it struggle, knowing what he had to do. "Prepare a rescue team. Let's show them what humans are really like." The Steadfast's warning lights flashed as a rescue shuttle launched toward the damaged alien vessel. The Council fleet ships immediately raised shields, expecting an attack. Instead, they watched in confusion as the human shuttle extended a tow cable. "What are they doing?" demanded Commander Red from his ship. "It must be a trick." But as the humans carefully pulled the supply ship to safety, the alien crew's panicked messages turned to confused gratitude. Back in the council chamber, the debate raged on. "Look at their skeletal structure." A biological expert pointed at human scans. "Their bones are reinforced like battle armor. Their muscles are dense enough to punch through walls. Their digestive system can process poisons." Another scientist joined in. "Their brains process information faster than our best computers. They can survive in almost any environment. They heal from injuries that would kill most species. These cannot be natural traits." The rescued supply ship's captain spoke up from a communication screen. "But they helped us without asking anything in return. Would weapons do that? Would monsters show kindness?" An explosion rocked the chamber as tempers finally boiled over. 2 representatives had come to blows, their security teams jumping into the fight. Elder White watched sadly as the council descended into chaos, fear overwhelming centuries of civilization. Captain Gray received an urgent message from Earth. Admiral Stone's hologram appeared, looking grim. "The council's fear is spreading. Their border patrols are abandoning their posts. Pirates and raiders are taking advantage of the chaos. If this continues, the whole sector could destabilize." On the Steadfast bridge, Wilson's console lit up with new alerts. "Captain, the council ships, they're receiving orders to open fire if we make any sudden moves. Their weapons are hot." She paused, listening to more transmissions. Some of their captains are arguing against it, especially the ones who saw us help the supply ship. Gray stood at his viewport, watching the alien fleet's formation tighten around them. The Steadfast's superior technology meant they could probably fight their way out, but that would only prove the Council's fears right. Each passing moment brought them closer to violence. "Sir," Wilson called out suddenly, "I'm picking up distress calls. Lots of them. With the Council fleet focused on us, raiders are hitting civilian stations and colonies. The Council ships are too far away to help." Gray straightened his uniform, making a decision. "Plot a course to the nearest distress call. If they won't believe our words, they'll have to believe our actions." He took a deep breath. Even if they shoot at us, we're going to help those people. The Steadfast's engines hummed to life. Around them, the Council fleet raised shields and charged weapons, expecting an attack. Instead, the human warship that had caused so much fear was about to show the galaxy what humanity truly stood for, even if they had to do it under the guns of 1,000 frightened ships. The first shot came from a nervous alien gunner who mistook the Steadfast's rescue turn for an attack run. The energy beam splashed harmlessly against the human warship's shields, but its impact sent ripples through both sides. For a moment, everything hung in perfect silence. "Shields holding at 100%, reported the Steadfast's defense officer. No damage. Around them, the alien fleet's weapons all locked on, ready to unleash their full power. Captain Gray remained standing, calm despite the red warning lights flashing across his bridge. "Hold your fire," Gray ordered. "Continue on course to the distress beacon." The Steadfast moved forward steadily, its dark hull reflecting the energy discharges as more nervous alien ships opened fire. None of their weapons could pierce the advanced human shields. Commander Red watched in disbelief from his ship. "Impossible. We're hitting them with enough firepower to crack a moon." His sensor officers' hands shook as they reported the readings. "Sir, they're shields. They're not just blocking our weapons. They're absorbing the energy. Their power levels are rising." The Steadfast pushed through the barrage, never firing back. More distress calls poured in as raiders took advantage of the Council fleet's distraction. Gray watched the tactical display showing civilian stations under attack. Time to show them what this ship was really built for. When the Steadfast reached the first raided station, its true capabilities were finally revealed. Not in destruction, as the Council feared, but in protection. The human warship's advanced systems locked onto every raider vessel simultaneously. Instead of weapons fire, it launched dozens of rescue shuttles, while projecting an energy field that disabled the raiders' engines. "Are you seeing this?" Wilson broadcasted on all frequencies, making sure every Council ship could witness their actions. The Steadfast's medical bays opened to receive injured aliens, its repair crews helped fix damaged stations, and its shields extended to protect civilian ships. In the Council chamber, Elder White watched the feeds with growing wonder. "Look, the humans. They're not attacking. They're saving our people." The representatives fell silent as they saw the Steadfast efficiently handle a crisis their own ships had abandoned. A raider fleet emerged from jump space, seeing an opportunity in the chaos. Their leader, a notorious pirate, grinned at the sight of so many vulnerable civilian ships. His smile faded as the Steadfast turned to face them. The human ship's response was precise and overwhelming. Small drones launched from hidden bays, surrounding the raider ships in seconds. The Steadfast's point defense systems disabled their weapons with surgical precision, while specialized tractor beams locked them in place. The entire raider fleet was neutralized in minutes, without a single life lost. "Captain," Wilson called out, "the Council ships. They're standing down. Some are even moving to help us with the rescue operations." Gray nodded, watching as alien ships that had been firing at them minutes ago now worked alongside their rescue shuttles. Commander Red's ship was among the first to join them. "I don't understand," he said to his crew. "They had the power to destroy us all along. Instead, they endured our attacks just to help our people." His communications officer reported that similar conversations were happening across the entire Council fleet. The Steadfast's medical bay filled with injured aliens as their doctors treated species they'd never seen before. Human engineers worked alongside alien crews to repair damaged systems, showing an adaptability that amazed their new colleagues. Even the Council's experts had to admit that humanity's technological advancement had been driven by the desire to protect, not destroy. A small alien child in the medical bay reached out to touch a human doctor's hand, showing no fear. Around them, barriers began to break down as alien crews saw humans up close for the first time. They weren't the monsters of their fears. They were people who had rushed into danger to help strangers. Gray received a new message from Admiral Stone. The Council's war faction is losing support. Keep going, Captain. Show them who we really are. The Steadfast's engines hummed as they moved to the next crisis point, their actions speaking louder than any diplomatic message could. The human warship that had caused so much fear was now surrounded by a growing fleet of alien vessels, not to contain it, but to help it. Together, they moved through space, addressing each distress call, showing the galaxy what could be accomplished when fear was replaced with cooperation. Earth's response to the crisis came not with the thunder of war drums, but with the precision of a well-oiled machine. Deep in the Sol system, the human fleet emerged from its hidden docks. Ships of all sizes moved in perfect formation, their dark hulls gleaming under distant starlight. But these weren't the warships the Council feared. Each vessel was loaded with medical supplies, repair equipment, and humanitarian aid. Admiral Stone stood on his flagship's bridge, watching the fleet prepare for jump. "Remember," he broadcast to all ships, "we're not going in as conquerors or warriors. We're going as helpers and neighbors." Every ship follows the Steadfast's example. The Council's long-range sensors lit up as human ships appeared at strategic points across their space. But instead of attacking, each ship broadcast the same message: "We come to assist. Any station or vessel in need of aid, please signal." On a Council observation post, the alien crew watched in awe as a human medical ship larger than their largest cruiser effortlessly repaired a damaged station. Their sensors showed more human vessels appearing every hour, each one moving to crisis points that the Council fleet had abandoned. "How many are there?" asked the Council admiral, watching the sensor feeds. His analyst couldn't give a firm number. The human ships seemed to appear and disappear at will, their stealth technology making them almost impossible to track. The only clear sign of their presence was the trail of helped civilians and captured raiders they left behind. Back on the Steadfast, Captain Gray received new orders from Earth. The message was played throughout the ship. "The Sol Council has authorized full humanitarian deployment. All ships are cleared to reveal our medical and repair capabilities. Show them who we are." Wilson's console lit up with incoming signals. "Sir, the alien civilians. They're spreading the word about us. Listen." She played a transmission where alien children excitedly described watching human engineers fix their home station's life support in minutes. Another showed alien doctors amazed by human medical technology freely shared with their clinics. The Council's military leaders struggled to understand the human strategy. "They could have conquered half our space by now," one general admitted during an emergency meeting. "Instead, they're building hospitals and repairing our infrastructure. What kind of invasion is this?" A human aid ship named Hope arrived at a remote mining colony that had been cut off for weeks. The alien miners expected raiders but found themselves greeted by humans offering food, medical care, and repairs. Word spread quickly. The dreaded humans were not destroyers but saviors. Admiral Stone received reports from across Council space. Human ships had stabilized the region in days, doing what the Council fleet couldn't do in months. Raiders and pirates fled at the mere rumor of a human vessel in the area. Civilian traffic resumed under the watchful protection of Earth's fleet. But it was the small moments that truly changed minds. On a crowded refugee station, a human doctor worked tirelessly to save an alien child, refusing to rest until they succeeded. At a damaged fuel depot, human engineers taught alien crews how to improve their systems, freely sharing their knowledge. The Council's fears began to transform into curiosity. Their scientists watched in fascination as human ships demonstrated technologies they had thought impossible. But instead of weapons, these were tools of healing and building. The humans' matter replicators churned out needed supplies, their medical pods cured diseases thought terminal, and their repair systems fixed damage thought permanent. Wilson showed Gray a new report from Earth. More human ships were being prepared, not for war, but for peaceful contact. Diplomatic vessels, cultural exchange ships, and trading posts were being readied. Humanity was stepping onto the galactic stage, not as the monsters of alien nightmares, but as helpers and teachers. "Sir," she said with a smile. They're calling us the Guardians now. She played recent civilian transmissions where aliens spoke of human ships with hope instead of fear. The same technology they feared is now the thing they trust most. The Steadfast continued its patrol, no longer surrounded by nervous warships, but accompanied by grateful allies. Above them, more human vessels emerged from jump space, each one carrying not weapons of war, but tools of peace. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not through force of arms, but through force of compassion. In a vast chamber aboard the Council's central station, alien scientists huddled around screens displaying Earth's historical records. The humans had opened their databases, allowing the Council to study their development. What the aliens discovered left them stunned. Look at this. Chief Scientist Blue pointed to an image of ancient Earth. Their world tried to kill them countless times. Ice ages, massive predators, natural disasters. But they didn't just survive, they grew stronger. Her assistant Green studied human medical records with growing amazement. Their bodies adapted to eat almost anything, Green noted. Their minds developed pattern recognition beyond our best computers. Even their play activities were preparation for survival. He showed videos of human children climbing trees, running, jumping, actions that would exhaust or injure most alien species. The Steadfast received a stream of curious alien scientists, each wanting to understand how humans had developed their technology. Captain Gray welcomed them, knowing that understanding would replace fear. In the ship's engineering section, human technicians explained their innovations to wide-eyed alien experts. You mean you developed faster than light travel just to explore? An alien engineer asked in disbelief. Not for war or conquest. The human engineer nodded, showing how their drive systems were designed to minimize disruption to space around them. Every advancement had been made with care and consideration. Commander Red, once so fearful of the human ship, now stood on the Steadfast's bridge as an invited guest. He watched the human crew work with efficient calm, their movements precise but relaxed. Your reflexes, he noted, they're so much faster than ours. Yet you never seem rushed. Wilson showed him the ship's training programs. We prepare for everything, she explained. Not because we want disasters to happen, but because we want to be ready to help when they do. The alien commander understood finally. Humans weren't creating weapons, they were creating solutions. In the council chamber, Elder White reviewed reports from across their space. Criminal activity had dropped to historic lows. Trade routes were safer than ever. The humans had achieved in weeks what the council had struggled with for centuries. But they hadn't done it through force. They'd done it through protection and prevention. A group of alien children visited the Steadfast's medical bay, where human doctors showed them advanced healing technologies. Why do you help us? One child asked. The doctor smiled, explaining how humans had learned long ago that the best way to survive was to help others survive too. Admiral Stone's flagship hosted a delegation of council military leaders. They came expecting to see weapons of war, but found systems designed for rescue, repair, and protection. The human ship's fearsome appearance had been designed to deter conflict, not initiate it. Your entire civilization, a council general observed, it's built on turning threats into opportunities. He gestured to the human fleet visible through the viewport. We thought these ships were planet killers. Instead, they're the galaxy's greatest rescue service. In a quiet moment on the Steadfast's observation deck, Captain Gray shared Earth coffee with Commander Red. The alien tried the drink cautiously, surprised by its strength. Even your beverages are intense, he joked, beginning to understand how humans had become who they were. We evolved on a world that challenged us, Gray explained. So we learned to challenge ourselves. Every obstacle became a chance to improve. He showed Red pictures of Earth's mountains, oceans, and deserts. We explored these places not because we had to, but because they were there. The Council's research teams made another surprising discovery. Humans were still evolving, still adapting. Their technology wasn't replacing their natural abilities, but enhancing them. They weren't trying to conquer nature, but work with it, a philosophy they now extended to the galaxy. Wilson received new transmissions from across Council space. Alien ships were requesting human crew members, wanting to learn from them. Stations were being redesigned with human safety protocols. The fear of humanity was being replaced by a desire to understand and cooperate. The Steadfast's crew watched as another group of alien scientists arrived, eager to learn. What had started as a terrifying first contact was becoming the galaxy's greatest cultural exchange. Humanity's strength wasn't in their technology or biology, but in their endless desire to learn, adapt, and help others do the same. 1 month after the Steadfast's first appearance, the Council's Grand Chamber looked very different. Human representatives stood among the alien delegates, their presence no longer causing fear but inspiring hope. The massive chamber buzzed with excited conversation as final preparations were made for the historic moment. Captain Gray stood before the assembled council, his uniform crisp and neat. Behind him, through the chamber's vast windows, the Steadfast floated peacefully alongside council ships. The same vessel that had once terrified the galaxy now served as a symbol of unity. The humans have changed everything, Elder White addressed the chamber. Not through force, but through friendship. Not through fear, but through understanding. The old leader's eyes shone with emotion. They have shown us a better way to face the galaxy's challenges. Commander Red, now Earth's strongest supporter in the Council, stood to speak. 1 month ago, I was ready to fire on the Steadfast. Today, I'm proud to call its crew my friends. He gestured to the human ship visible through the window. They could have conquered us. Instead, they chose to help us. The Council voted unanimously to accept humanity into their alliance. As the votes were counted, Wilson showed Gray the latest reports from across Council space. Crime rates had dropped to historic lows. Trade was flourishing. Joint human-alien crews were becoming common, combining the best of both worlds. Look at this, she said, displaying images from various stations and planets. Alien children played with human toys designed to be safe for all species. Alien doctors worked alongside human medical technology. Council ships proudly display both their original insignia and the new human alliance symbol. Admiral Stone's hologram appeared before the Council, announcing the next phase of human integration. We're establishing joint training programs, he explained. Human rescue techniques, emergency responses, and defense strategies will be shared with all Council species. In the Steadfast's medical bay, the human doctor who had saved the alien child a month ago now trained alien medical staff. They watched in amazement as she demonstrated new treatment techniques. Your bodies may be different, she explained, but the desire to help others is universal. The Council's military leaders, once so fearful of human warships, now studied human defensive strategies with keen interest. They learned that the imposing design of human vessels was intentional, meant to prevent fights rather than start them. The best battle, a human instructor explained, is the one you avoid entirely. Earth's first official embassy in Council space opened its doors. The building combined human and alien architecture, its design reflecting the new partnership. Inside, cultural exchange programs began, with both sides eager to learn from each other. Human art hung alongside alien sculptures. Human music played alongside alien songs. Gray walked through the Steadfast's corridors, now bustling with both human crew and alien visitors. In the mess hall, humans shared Earth foods with curious aliens, while trying alien dishes in return. The ship that had once been seen as a harbinger of doom had become a place of friendship and learning. The Council's scientific division made another breakthrough in understanding human nature. Their greatest strength, Chief Scientist Blue announced, isn't their technology or their biology. It's their ability to adapt and help others adapt too. Her team had documented countless cases of humans finding creative solutions to help various alien species overcome their limitations. As the ceremony concluded, a new emergency call came in. A spatial anomaly threatened a distant colony. Without hesitation, both human and Council ships responded together. The Steadfast led the way, but not alone. Alien vessels flew in formation with it, their crews working in perfect harmony. Wilson showed Gray one final report. Across Council space, other species had begun adopting human emergency protocols, safety measures, and humanitarian priorities. The fear that had once greeted human ships had been replaced by cheers and welcomes. "You know what they're calling us now?" Wilson asked with a smile. "The Guardians of Tomorrow." She played recent transmissions where alien children spoke of becoming space rescue workers, just like the humans. As the Steadfast prepared to respond to the new crisis, Gray looked at his crew working alongside their alien counterparts. The ship's dark hull still reflected the starlight, but now it brought comfort rather than fear to those who saw it. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not by conquering it, but by protecting it. The message that now traveled ahead of human ships was simple but powerful. Need help? We're on our way. And throughout Council space, countless beings smiled at those words, knowing that humanity's strength had become the galaxy's shield.